All right, welcome back to Slip Joint Display. Today we're looking at a couple of Great Eastern Cutlery 66s, one very old and one very new. The first one is in antique amber jig bone and it's knife number 668210, and the second is in gabbin ebony and it's knife number 661225. Let's get into these models. So, Great Eastern Cutlery has re-released the 66. I saw this run coming and I wasn't familiar with the model, so I wanted to pick one up. I was looking over the different cover options and I saw gabbin ebony and I thought that might be a nice choice for me. This is a small knife and I was trying to consider where it would fit into my carry. And I thought to myself, you know, pick one up in ebony, use it rough, throw it in the pocket, slipless carry on a small pen knife. And it seemed like a good idea. And when I saw that the Northfield ebony came in a satin option, it caught my attention even more. I picked this up from Boss Steel Blades. Always good doing business with Joel. What you're talking about here is Northfield trim. So satin polished Northfield on this one. Cut swedge, long pull, fluted bolsters that are pinched, propeller shield, and gabbin ebony as the handle material with a secondary pen knife. Around the time that this knife was coming out, you know, I was waiting for it to be released, and I was doing some selling and trading on the secondary market, and a trade opportunity came my way for this 66 from 2010. I wasn't looking for it. I wasn't planning on it. It just kind of fell in my lap, and I ended up picking up the knife. I liked the look of it. I mean, this is antique amber jig bone, but it just at a glance, it reminds me of Stag, and I think that was probably its main selling point, that and the age. Again, Northfield trim, so what you're talking about is mirror polished blades. This one is double muskrat clip. On the muskrat clips, you're talking about a drawn swedge, fluted bolsters that are pinched, and your unexcelled shield over antique amber jig bone. I can dig it. Being that both of these are Northfield, here is your tubes. Interesting because neither one of these is your standard Northfield tube. So let's just go over the details here. So with the new model, this is your Northfield tube for your satin Northfield. The way that Northfield is written here matches your billboard on the blade. And then we've got premium pocket knives, hammer tested, frozen forged 1095 carbon steel with GEC's address there. On the other tube, old tube label, Northfield Unexcelled brand, premium pen and pocket knives, reproductions of great old Eastern American cutlery, hammer tested frozen forged blades, 1095 carbon steel. What catches my attention about this is because this is a really old knife. I mean, 2010, the company was only established, you can see, in 2006, right? So this was an early model. If this isn't the oldest knife that I've got on the channel, it's definitely one of them. And when this was made, it was fairly low production numbers. And I think that 2010 was the first year that the 66 was made. I mean, that's what I could pick up from the research I did on GEC's website. And the year that this one was made, this antique amber jig bone, there was 25 made that were serialized and 36 unserialized. This is an unserialized knife, so this is one of the 36. My question is, this green label, you know, this wasn't serialized, it wasn't an SFO. From everything I can tell, this is a standard Northfield release. Was this green label the standard label back then? So if anybody watching has a lot of old GECs, you know, 2010 and before that, get down in the comments and let us all know. I mean, I'm curious, was this the standard Northfield label of that time period? And then, of course, we've got our caps. So you've got your old school handwritten and then the new school printed with the satin designation. I can totally dig it. Clear the deck a little bit. As far as the pattern is concerned, with the 66, what you're talking about is an equal end serpentine pattern. So you can see the serpentine shape to the handle there. And you can also tell, you know, this is equal end, and the handle stays the same size the whole way through. There's no swell in it or anything like that. Cam tangs on these, on both. So no half stops. Good action though. I mean, I was only hearing good things about this latest run of 66s. You know, when as it was leading up to me picking one up. This Gavin Ebony wasn't the first one released. But from everything I heard, everything people were that people were posting, it was that the run was done really well and the action was really good. So I was pretty excited to pick it up. I was looking into the pattern and the history of it, and it seems as if there's no definitive birth date of the pattern. I mean, I think it kind of came off of, you know, like an offshoot of the Stockman pattern. I read that these were made, or variations of this was made in Sheffield with, you know, the idea to sell it in the States after the American Civil War. So what you're talking about there is like late 1800s. As far as digging into it more goes, I mean, other than just, you know, reading stuff like that, looking into it a little bit farther, trying to get some examples of the pattern, just looking at some old catalog pages. Here you've got knives from Belknap or John Primble. So as far back as like 1890. But I mean, there you go. There's your pattern. And then here stuff is again from Winchester. That's got an extra blade in it, but still. So interesting stuff there. And then let me see, I was digging around a little bit more and I found, here's an example from Shrade Walden, I think 1937. It's a double muskrat clip, so slightly larger knife, 4 inches, but it is an example of the double muskrat clip. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's it. Now, more examples from Shrade Walden. Just an even smaller version. And then this here. Yeah, smaller. But good stuff as far as equal and serpentine is concerned. Interesting that I was able to find stuff so closely related in the catalog pages. So even on the older model, on the 2010 model, action is very good. Like I said, still cam tangs. Action's really good on this newer model. This newer model, what you're talking about is these are sharing the well, single spring, single well. So both blades sharing the same well there. Fitted together really good. Look at that. Great Eastern Cutlery does so good with that. I haven't even found any rubbing on these. Like I said, single spring. Now, I did hear people talking when this was getting ready to come out. I guess people that were more familiar with Great Eastern Cutlery 66s and people that were picking up the early options of these. And I heard people talk about that this felt more substantial in the hand than some of the other runs, I guess the last run. And people pointed out that this knife has an extra liner in it. It does. It's got an extra brass liner there. The reason they put that liner in is they got to fit both blades in the well, and that gives them a little bit of extra space. You can see here where that extra liner terminates right before the tip of your main blade. Also, you see back here where that liner terminates, and they did a good job. You know, on the 32s, it was similar construction where it was 2 blades single well and they had an extra liner on there. And where the liner stopped and the spring started had a gap. Now, there's a gap on this, but it's very, very small. It was on the 32s, and people complained about it. I mean, people noticed it, and you heard people talk about it. Well, they talked about it when they first came out, and then everybody realized how great the 32s were, and everybody forgot about it. But I'm just pointing out that on this model, it seems like Great Eastern Cutlery really tightened it up. You've got to have some gap in there so that when you open the pen, the spring has room to move past that secondary liner. So there's got to be some gap in there. It can't be flush, but Great Eastern Cutlery got that really tight. They really did a good job with that. The construction on this is really great. I really like how they fitted everything together. What an outstanding job. Yeah, I can totally dig this model. As far as the 2010 66 is concerned, it is double spring and they're not sharing the same well. So double spring, double well with a liner in between. I can still dig it. I like this. I even like the way that it looks. I mean, it looks busy. There's a lot going on there, and I dig it. I don't mind the extra spring. It makes it even more substantial than the newer model. I haven't measured, but it's thicker. I mean, I can see that it's thicker. You can feel it. It's heavier. So I dig that. Yeah. I also really appreciate the cutouts to get your fingernail in. There's no pinching these models. I mean, obviously, the muskrat clips are really low, but even this clip point, because of the pen blade there, you're not pinching it. It's going to be fingernail all day long. GEC put in little cutouts in the bone there for you to access the nail nicks, and I think that's a nice touch. I like that. As far as the names of these models are concerned, the new run is called the Lil Cowboy. Now, it doesn't say it on this one. I mean, on this, they're kind of running with the satin Northfield thing. But there are other knives from this run, like the Ruby Red Springfield bone, where on the blade it says Lil Cowboy, and the tube art goes along with that. So, yeah, Lil Cowboy is kind of the name of this run. As far as the 2010 model is concerned, this is called the Mink Skinner, which I think is totally appropriate. I mean, both these blades are muskrat clips. Muskrat clip blades have a long history in the United States as far as skinning is concerned, trapping, skinning, that kind of thing. So the idea that on a run called the Mink Skinner, they would do double muskrat clips that are super thin. I mean, these are thin blades. I don't know if we can see a difference there, but I don't know. It comes off as thin. So thin blades, double muskrat clip on a very small knife, and you're calling it the Mink Skinner? Yeah, that totally makes sense to me. Beyond that, I mean, as far as this model is concerned, when I got it, I got it in hand, and I really got a chance to look at it up close, and I was shocked. This antique amber jig bone just took my breath away. They did such an amazing job on it. I mean, now the jigging is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It looks great. Don't get me wrong. But it's the overall. So the jigging, the coloring in the jigging, the coloring on the outside of the jigging in the bone, really, really done right. I mean, for it to be antique amber jig bone, I mean, look at all that. Look at all that's going on there. God, that's perfect. As far as I'm concerned, this is the best antique amber jig bone that I've ever had. Probably the best I've ever seen. With all this extra going on, the dye job and everything, this is how it's supposed to be done. This is what it's supposed to be. That's just my thoughts on it. And yeah, you know, when I got this, I was completely blown away by it. I really love it. I wasn't sure what I was going to think, and I wasn't sure when I first opened it up. But when I really got a chance to stop and look at it, I don't think I can part with this thing. What an amazing job they did. As far as the size of the knives are concerned, they are fairly small. So just to take a look here they are side by side with the Great Eastern Cutlery 15. GEC 15 is a very popular knife. A lot of people have them or have had them. So it just to give an idea of, you know, the size of the run. Here they are against the 71 as well. So, yeah. So the 66s are fairly small. As far as measurements are concerned, let's have a look around real quick. So, handle length, we're talking 3.5. Total blade length, 2.5. And total cutting, just a step over 2.25. Let's have a look at this pen as well. So for the pen blade, total blade length, just under 1 3/4, and total cutting, just a hair over 1.5. And then for the Mink Skinner, yeah, 3.5 handle and 2.5 total blade and just over 2 1/4 cutting. So there's your measurements. No flush at half, guys, because there is no half on these, no half stops. But let's have a look. We've got no gaps in the new 66 from the 2025 run. Let's have a look in this old guy. Yeah. All right, so a couple of grains of sand in there. Couple of grains of sand. Nothing major and nothing we can see from the outside. This guy is not used. I mean, this came to me new in tube, not sharpened, not patinaed. A little bit of rubbing there on the blade, but I don't care about that. I'm not making a safe queen out of it. Yeah, these are really good. I mean, I really have been on the fence about these, including the ebony, but I don't know. I think it's going to end up in the pocket. I think I'm going to sharpen it and carry it. I mean, it is a small knife, but I can still dig it. And I don't know, just something about the look of this ebony. It works. And the action is good. I wonder what's going to happen after, if I sharpen it and flush it, throw it in the pocket, and I'm carrying it and using it. I'm betting that action opens up even more. The construction is really good. The shield's not even there. The transitions are really good. Yeah. You can catch a little bit on this one, on the transitions, but then it's bone, and it's old bone. I mean, these knives are 15 years apart, right? So 15-year difference in when these knives were produced. First production of the model, latest production of the model. Yeah, I can totally dig it. Equal end serpentines. I wanted to get them together. I wanted to show them. I thought it would be interesting to do a video where we're looking at a really old version and the newest version of the same knife. What do you guys think? What do you think of the pattern? What do you think of how GEC did with it? Are you excited for it, or is it one that you're passing on for whatever reason? Is it, too small of a model or whatever? Get down in the comments. Let us all know, and I'll see you guys on the next video.